Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. This is Frontiers of Knowledge segment. We are quite impressed by the word natural, herbal. Little do we know that these so-called herbal medicines or the natural remedies can be extremely harmful. There's no denying the fact that the synthetic medicines and the drugs are dangerous, have a wide range of side effects, solve one problem, create another problem. But the so-called herbal drugs are no less. Just a week back, FDA gave an estimate that one drug alone called kratom has caused 44 deaths. There have been more than 27,000 overdoses cases as far as this drug is concerned, kratom. And CDC says that primarily kratom is the cause of death and of the overdoses. And has been all over USA and in Canada. Now, what is kratom? It is a plant grown in Southeast Asia, and it is considered to be a natural health treatment of common maladies like fever and coughs. It is stimulant and produces effect like opium. It's even touted in USA as an alternative to avoid opioid painkillers and even help people overcome opioid addiction. Not all that has been proved to be false. And as I said, more than 44 people have been confirmed dead from the use of this herbal drug, which is used very commonly for fevers and colds. So herbal drugs are not necessarily good ones. So-called natural medication can be harmful as well. So that is sending a signal to us that we have to be open. But while we say that, we cannot deny that despite all the bad effects, that despite all the pain and the misery the Medicare and the pharmaceutical companies cause, sometimes things come out to be good. But then they are, as long as you're not dependent on them. The University of Michigan and the University of Manchester in UK have identified two major helpful aids. We are worried in this world that as the life expectancy increases, the people who are elder in age suffer from Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer. And now a joint study by the University of Michigan and the University of Manchester found that simply by wearing hearing aid, the cognitive decline could be reduced by 75%. What happens is that all of us as we age, we undergo loss of hearing, which is very common, and the weakening of the eyesight. But they say, according to the scientists, these two organs need to be very strong. Simply because we cannot hear somebody and say, hey, did you say something? Let's have a hearing aid. A study was done as a part of a wider study called the Health and Retirement Study. And it was measured every 2 years for the last 18 years. It was spread over 18 years. And it was found that if you are suffering from hearing loss, it's better to wear a hearing aid, and your brain skills, your cognitive skills, your thought skills would increase. And increase is not there, at least they will not decline. And the decline is reduced by 75%. It's a huge benefit. Similarly, people have cataract, and cataract surgery can slow down cognitive decline by 50%. This was done on the people in their 60s. 2,068 people were studied, and it was found that those people who had cataract but had no surgery, their cognitive capabilities declined. But the people who had surgery, their decline was reduced by 50%. So these two are quite nuggets of information, especially for the elderly, because they can reduce their cognitive skills decline appreciably by taking care of two senses, sense of sight and sense of hearing. And now another fact which we believe to be fact has been exploded. We always used to think that there are three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gaseous. But no, we could never imagine that a material could be both liquid and solid at the same time. So what they have now done is that they have confirmed there is a material which is quite mind-bending. It's like a sponge made of water that is leaking water. So it's both a solid and a liquid. So the matter now does not have three states: solid, liquid, and gas. It has solid, liquid, gas, and solid liquid. You know what we learned in our primary schools and continue to learn it to the university level, that three states of matter is an exploded myth. The team has used its capabilities and such facilities to confirm the existence of a bizarre new state of matter. They have identified it in two compounds at least, potassium and sodium. And they say that potassium atoms exhibit properties are both a solid and a liquid at the same time. So if you're somehow able to pull out a chunk of such material, it will be like a solid block leaking molten potassium. That would eventually all be watered away. So this has been seen even otherwise. The state of potassium has been found to be in such a situation in the Earth's mantle. And the element is generally not found in pure form. It's bound with the other materials. But the simulation of the Earth's mantle showed that in extreme conditions, this thing automatically happens. Potassium becomes a solid and the liquid at the same time. And this is very helpful in understanding our ecosystem. These leaky crystals placed in oilers have been shown to conduct heat and electricity much better. About 15 years back, scientists had discovered that sodium, a metal with similar properties to potassium, did something strange when compressed. At 20,000 times the pressure present in the Earth's surface, sodium transforms from a silver block into a transparent material. It loses its opacity. But now that it can be both solid and liquid, is really, really breathtaking. And then We are so fond of speed. I remember when I first traveled by Concorde from London to New York, it was a breathtaking experience. We landed in New York at 9 o'clock, ready for the breakfast. But now Lockheed Martin officials have developed the fastest spy plane. They are using it. And they say they call it the son of the blackbird, and they hope to fly it by 2030 after 10 years. And this will also be converted for use for the civilian use. This will be a new system where with a vertical takeoff, it will shoot up into space, travel 7 times the speed of sound, reach the destination and then fall down, come down. So it's VTOL, vertical takeoff vertical takeoff and landing. This VTOL system would enable it to go into space where there's no gravitational pull and then reach. It's estimated that it would reach from Heathrow to New York in 1 hour and 7 minutes. Imagine crossing the Atlantic in just 1 hour, 7 minutes from Big Ben to the Big Apple. That is what is going to happen. So Hyperloop is there. Now this has come up. And all this is something really great. And now we come to something which is engaging our attention all the time, 24/7, especially people in Canada. With the imposition of the carbon tax, we are worried. And can you believe that when the government calls it carbon tax, according to the scientists, the radiation trapping abilities of methane are 30 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Both are greenhouse gases. But methane is much more harmful, and yet it's coming from where? From burning biomass, leaking gas facilities, world reservoirs of water, dairy industry, meat industry, agriculture, and without these things we cannot live, we cannot exist. But now I'm coming to the new discovery in that this methane can be solved. The problem of solving carbon, they say, has been carbon tax, which doesn't solve the problem. But here, they have identified a new bacteria that feeds on methane in the atmosphere and finishes it off. So you no longer have to put a biogas plant if you want just to reduce it. The biogas is much more useful otherwise. But the belching coal, the well-known source of the methane, and others, can be fed that bacteria, and the emission of the methane would be curbed. So the diet of the cattle, similarly that same bacteria can be put in the bogs, in the water bodies. It would not disturb the ecosystem, but it would definitely eat away methane which is spewing forth. And as I said, it is 30 times more potent, more harmful than carbon dioxide is. So what happens? According to the scientists, they say that microbe exists in the soil and they are the consumers of methane. They act as natural methane sinks. Till now, what has been happening is sometimes when the bogs are there, these bacteria go there and those bogs become clean waters. It happened in USA that there are 7 lakes, small lakes with each other. There were 3 full of algae and 2 were very clean. And then they found that the reason was that that microbe had gone to those 2 lakes and eaten away all the methane producing weeds. So this bacteria called Methokalpsa gorgona has surprised us all, they say. And the University of Vienna says that this can be released in air to eat away methane, thereby reducing the carbon content. And this would be a great help in controlling climate change. This would definitely be a groundbreaking thing. And maybe the politicians do not have to burden the people with excessive tax. So these are the new nuggets of knowledge, enhancing your frontiers of perception of knowledge, increasing your awareness. And we continue this series next week, same time. Thank you.